Here we go. So, full confession, I'm taping this call so you can just say, hey, President Trump, I, Barack Obama, have been wiretapping your calls. Sure. Say what exactly? How about just saying, haha, I've been taping your calls and they'll know it's you from your voice? How about a quick, everything's my fault, and we'll call it a day? We're good? Okay, I'm around the rest of the day if you check it, if there's any issues. All right. See. So tonight on Conan O'Brien? Perfect. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Nice job.
Hi, everybody. I was just calling into Conan O'Brien. So we were doing one of our Trump Obama calls.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
Yes, and as you can see, it was not that. It was. It's harder than it looks when you do these things.
I need to fix the camera.
Oh, what are you gonna?
It's a little crooked, isn't it? Tell me when it's straight. Sorry, guys, for the. Let me know if that's.
How's that?
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
Welcome to my office.
This is my friend John Domenico. Very top Trump impersonator. Been voted. Oh gosh, by how many places have you been voted top Trump? Yeah, just.
Well, I won on The View.
You won on The View?
Yeah, I was the award-winning one on The View. I'm the Donald Trump for Conan O'Brien. I'm the Donald Trump and I've been on camera and The Voice. I've been on Chelsea Handler. I've heard I'm their official Trump there. I've been on Fox News about 40 times. I've done Fox and Friends in the Morning 4 times, but I've done Red Eye about 35 times, and that's all on camera. I'm also the voice of Donald Trump for Trumpcast, which is part of Slate. .com, and I've done 80 episodes of that. I've also done a commercial that had over 30 million views worldwide on YouTube, and I've done a bunch of YouTube stuff and tons of other stuff, and I did 250 interviews last year with everyone from the New York Times, Washington Post, Politico, all the Philly papers where I'm originally from, and Los Angeles Times. So I've had a really nice run recently.
Yeah.
As an actor. Yeah. So.
Well, thanks for Thanks for having me here in your home.
Oh, thank you for asking me. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. And you know
Hmm.
what? I'm gonna start doing it, you guys. The minute I hit somebody's doorstep like yours, I should already have the on button because there's just amazing things. I usually get the tour of the house and all kinds of interesting things. So thank you so much for having me here. We're in outside of Las Vegas, Nevada, guys, and
Henderson.
yeah, Henderson,
Yeah.
Nevada.
What's the saying? Only in Henderson.
And so John and I met through a class done by one of the top hosting trainers in LA. Her name is Marky Costello.
And are we using the right? Because I keep looking at you and I keep hearing Marky said just keep looking at the camera.
No, you can look at me. You can look at the camera.
Yeah, baby.
I think it's different when there's multiple cameras.
Right.
Or
well, it's not The View. This is just us.
It's us. I mean, even at The View, they're not staring at each other or at the camera constantly. Right? We got to go back and forth. But we met through that class, and I just want to explain. Guys, by the way, Spirit always brings me who I'm supposed to talk to on camera and interview and have conversation with on camera. And meeting John in the class, just little, constant connections. We would just partnership and working together in whatever role we were playing. And Spirit kept saying to me, you're supposed to interview John. We want you to connect with John and interview John. And I was like, okay, great. My stuff, you guys know, is around working with spiritual practitioners and people that take a leap of faith. And I'm not saying that you don't. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, okay, John also does actor, writer, comedian, top Donald Trump impersonator. What do you guys want me to know about my interview with John and why we're supposed to connect and be on camera? And so I get here, I'm contacting you. I'm like, just go on with the faith. you know,
Right.
taking my own leap of faith and connecting with you. And I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to interview you. And I get here to your house, which is beautiful, by the way. Thank you for having me here. And
Oh, my pleasure.
and then I start seeing Buddha. And I'm like,
Another Buddha. Another Buddha.
little signs of Buddha. And I'm like, okay. And then John goes, oh, by the way, here's my altar. And I'll show you guys. And so there's a picture of Buddha. There's Dalai Lama's in there.
Archangel Michael.
Oh, Archangel Michael.
He's in the upper corner.
Gosh.
He's in the upper corner.
Okay.
There. Tibetan prayer flags.
Yeah, you got incense
Things
in
I've
there.
and then that meeting, and I told you when I had seen the Dalai Lama in New York, that piece, that I forget what it's called right there. That they gave those out. That's actually from that years ago.
Oh, okay.
Which hanging over the photo. You can't see. We'll show you that
Yeah,
momentarily.
we'll just tip it over.
But but the funny thing was when we were in class and you had said you were a shaman, my ears perked up right away because I thought that was just so cool, and it was, you know. And I took that class. It was interesting because I took that class not just to learn, but I had gotten a message like take the class not just to promote your career, but to meet people.
Oh, to connect.
Yeah,
Just
to
like
connect.
me.
And it was very, very clear because when I was talking to my buddy about taking it, I said I don't really have a super defined professional reason, but it was more about just going there and meeting other people. And I didn't know it was going to be you, but it was obviously you.
Yes, so that's what I got too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I was invited by my good friend, who we both know now, Fernando DeMello.
Right.
And we both attended the class, and I got the same thing. I was supposed to connect with you and Marky, the instructor, and then
Right.
there's a couple of other people.
Yeah, and JJ's coming here this week.
Oh,
too.
okay, because I have
Yeah.
JJ.
Yeah. So
I have
it's
JJ
funny.
on the list.
Yeah, it's amazing from that one group. I mean, the immediate connections. And I've done classes before and all kinds of things, but there's like just an immediate kind of thing that happened. And I think part of it was how Marky, in the class, one of the things she was talking about was kind of revealing yourself. I call that taking off the mask because I wear a mask for a living.
Yes, you have.
So that's really what I do, and I just thought that was very interesting more about yourself. And I didn't really know that's what the class was going to be about. And I thought it was very interesting to be a host, be more of who you are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, universe brings us in synchronistic, divine ways. We show up, just take that leap of faith
Right.
and show up. We don't know why we're there. Sometimes we think we're there for one reason, and it ends up being a complete, different reason.
yeah, it's definitely because it's less about the hosting now, but the making these connections with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Thank you. But speaking of taking a leap of faith, I mean, you know what? We know very little about each other in this lifetime, and we were discussing right before we got on here that, I was like, oh yeah, I see us in that monk lifetime.
Right.
We've got some monk lifetimes, and it's been interesting. So, we have completely different roles in this lifetime, and I find it very fascinating because it takes a huge leap of faith for you to do what you do and then become the top in your field right now of being the Donald Trump impersonator of Donald Trump impersonators. So it makes me very curious, and I think people are curious, and this is all what it's about, guys, taking that leap of faith, following your heart, following your guidance, your gut intuition, guides, whatever we want to call it, our higher selves, our God within. And so where did this even come from? Like, one day you wake up and you go, okay, I'm getting guidance that I should start sounding like Donald Trump.
Well, it actually goes back to my childhood because when I was a kid, I was a ham, and I grew up in a row home neighborhood outside of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I had a severe speech impediment. But for some reason, I could do voices. I could do, Ed Sullivan and James Cagney and Humphrey Bogart and all these people. They were, because I would see their movies, but I could do their voices. And when I did the voices, I didn't have the impediment. So I would watch a TV show and then just come out and do that comedian's act, and my neighbors would love it, and they thought it was just so funny, and and also it was, you want to be heard as a person, and you want to be able to communicate with people and connect with people, and when you can't be heard properly because of the way you speak, because you can't pronounce words, but when you get affirmation because you are heard, you are understood, and you're entertaining too, that's an amazing thing. And from the time I can remember, all I've ever wanted to be is a performer or be an actor. That's all I've ever wanted to do. So that's what I've pursued my entire life. And anybody who's a working actor knows there's a lot of it's not a straight thing. It's a lot of side roads and this thing and that thing. But over the years, as I was pursuing acting in Philadelphia and New York, I kept always doing the character work and celebrity voices and celebrity characters. I do about 30 different celebrity characters.
Wow.
Austin Powers and obviously Donald Trump. And you saw the makeup room and the wardrobe room. I have a whole room devoted to all that stuff. But the road's kind of winding. But I've always made a living as a performer. Wow. As an actor, as a comedian, as a host, as an impersonator. So the biggest jump, the biggest leap for me is coming from a working class blue collar family with no connections, and just saying this is what I want to do because this is all I've ever wanted to do. I came out of the womb wanting to be a performer and wanting to be an actor, and I was told many times like, well, you have to get an education first, or you need to do this first, or you need to do that first, and for me, this is just what I want to do, and it's brought me to this point, and all these wonderful things have happened.
Wow, so that is fantastic.
Yeah,
because
kind of truncated this story.
You're at the top of your game.
Yeah, thank God, because the fact that he ran. I've been doing Donald Trump for 12 years,
wow.
And I've done tons of team building and roasts and all these different things in character and commercials and voiceovers and things like that. But him running back in June of 2015, which is we're coming up on 2 years now, has just been an amazing period of time, which has gotten me studio meetings and TV and commercials, and it's just been incredible. But because I chose to do this character 12 years ago, it gave me this really long runway because everyone's jumping on board right now trying to do a Donald Trump impersonation, but I had the infrastructure, so to speak, was already there.
Yes, so it was like this future, you were catching up to your future self.
Yes.
And it's your time now. Now it's your time.
Yes.
Yes. So all this preparation, right? We never know why we were preparing for something, and sometimes it's years of preparing. We don't know that they are stepping stones to get it.
It's the truth.
And then a time in this dimension finally aligns with where we're at, and we catch up to our future self, which is already going on in another dimension, but we catch up to it, and now it's just aligning perfectly, and the puzzle piece for you has aligned perfectly.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm in the right place too, because I'm accessible to LA, and I'm there a lot, and it's in New York a lot too, so I can just find. Living here in Las Vegas has made it possible to move, to be more nimble, so to speak, when something comes up. It's like, can you be here tomorrow? Boom, I can be in LA 39 minutes.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
and as we were just witnessing, you're doing a lot from home too, on phone calls and a lot of stuff. So that's
and I have a home studio here downstairs for voiceovers, and then there's the kind of the makeshift studio for any on-camera things.
So see, I was looking at your Austin Powers situation over here, and I was like, maybe we can take the camera with us and do a little tour of your house.
Austin was the first character I started doing him in '97, and he was the first character that really.
I'm going to show him your altar.
Oh,
because
sure.
We were just
gave me a very long run of work, and
there's his altar, guys. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, and then there's the books and Dalai Lama and Secret and everything. Every other thing. Okay. So let's come over here. This is when a friend of mine took these photos of me in a booking, and I just love them. And I don't really have a lot of photos of myself. I'm not like that. But these were just such great photos, and I wanted to have a moment in time where I was in character and I felt I looked like him. And I'm not a big memorabilia person either, but I wanted to have a couple of things to remind me of this character, so when I get older, I have it. So there's a couple of Austin Powers and Dr. Evils. Scotch, you're just not evil enough. You're quasi-evil. You're semi-evil. You're the Diet Coke of evil. Just like Kelly. And of course, Austin Powers, baby. And then somebody made up some very funny cards about Donald Trump. So these are hilarious Donald Trump cards. So I've added a few Donald Trump things, and there's some other Donald Trump stuff. And
that's great.
This is Mr. Bigglesworth.
That's
great.
great.
So this is more of a thank you to Mike Myers than my interpretation of it. He's made it possible for me to make a living through the 90s and 2000s, and Mike Myers. I mean, I wish he would do another Austin. Mike, if you're watching, another Austin Powers would be great. Right?
Yeah, I can see that. I can
Yeah.
see how that would all fit into it. It makes total sense now,
Right.
you guys. The world makes sense after seeing that. Okay, let's go.
So we're gonna go down to the wardrobe room, or
Sure. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, this is great, guys. So,
you're gonna get a tour of my home with another. There's the little baby booties.
yeah. It's kind of fun. Really fun. Spirit had me do a little bit of a spin-off. You're definitely...
So this is a little bit of a mess. I just came back from a job, but this is I do about, like I said, I do about 30 characters. These are not all the wigs, but it's a lot of wigs of Dr. Phil and a couple of Trump backup wigs and Austin Powers and Jay Leno and Guy Fieri. And this is Tony Bennett, who I haven't started doing yet. My wig maker just made this wig for me. That's Ozzy Osbourne,
Wow.
Regis Philbin, and then all the wardrobes here for all the different characters. You see it all broken up. And then we have all props here and shoes, and then this is all makeup, hair, contacts, because all the characters have different contacts
Wow.
and things like that. So everything's systemized to make it easier for me to pack. There's a lot of jobs. If I'm not doing just one character, like such as Donald Trump, I might be doing 3 or 4 characters. So it's
That's awesome.
it's a lot of work packing in and out.
Yeah, and you
and
got
this
the
is
green
all we have the
screen.
green screen up if we're shooting here, and then we've got some, we have great natural light and some lighting, and it makes it easier. So this house works great for what I do as far as audio taping. We'll go to the voiceover studio.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
this is and over there's Trump, which I have to clean. So this is my audio studio. If you want to come in here, and I probably picked the single worst room in the house. It's small enough. It's kind of cool. It's a neat space, but we're under the steps. That's why I had to do every single nook and cranny here.
Yeah.
But when you close this door, you do get a perfect no sound. This is a very quiet neighborhood, so this room is
Yeah.
for recording, and I can record here and also do some interviews, but mainly it's perfect for recording, and I bring my laptop in, plug everything in, and it's and I'm good to go.
Yeah. Well, we are getting the behind the scenes, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is pretty sweet. It's a pretty sweet
Yeah,
setup.
I want to put up a little, like a little shot of Conan, a little shot of all these different people, so that'll be coming soon.
Yeah. Wow. So what's coming up next for you?
Next, I mean, there's a lot of different bookings. Usually, there's at least one voiceover a day. It's either for Trumpcast or for Conan or for Chelsea or for a client. I've got a client who just hired me to do some voiceover stuff, and then there's toys that I do the voice for. And then I'll be going back on the road to do some live corporate stuff and some private stuff. And I may even be going, we haven't sealed the deal yet on this. And I don't usually talk about things that haven't happened yet, but this is really cool. I may be going to Venice to do an art installation where I would be Trump for that, but
Wow.
it's not a done deal. But it's just one of those really, because you get used to doing kind of the same types of jobs over and over again. This would be really something different.
That's
So,
yeah. Well, I wish the best with
Yeah.
on that, sending you lots of light on that. Here's something just off the beaten path. I'm curious because, and I think these guys are too. Because speaking of spiritual kind of stuff and maybe rituals or things that we do in the morning to prep ourselves to get ready for our day, what do you do before all of this kind of happens? What to prepare yourself? We were kind of talking a little bit about that, but maybe you can.
What I usually do is I get up and I go into the office, open the doors where the altar is, and then I lay down my yoga mat and I do a sunrise salutation.
Oh, okay.
And I'll do 4 or 5 poses, and then in that moment I try to focus, and I'll sometimes listen to I find listening to sections of The Secret very helpful. It kind of focuses me and reminds me that the things that I say I can make real. Thoughts become things.
Yes.
So I have to be careful about not only about what I do think, but what I shouldn't be thinking about, because I can also make those things materialize. So I always try to like realign myself. I call it like lighting the campfire every day, because when you go to sleep at night, the campfire goes out.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I relight the campfire every morning, and then that way I have a fresh start. So do you want a minute to move to the couch?
Yeah, we can
let's
go
move to
over
the
there.
couch. It's
Let's
better
go.
lighting
Yeah.
in this dark room. So that's like my main thing, is to kind of restart every day, realign every day, and plan the day out, not so much on a task basis, but what do I need to do to succeed as a person, as opposed to just being a professional.
Right. Oh, that's great.
Is it too much sun?
You know what? We're gonna be okay for a little bit.
Where's that coming from? Holy
Yeah.
cow.
You can.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, and it's perfect, the light between us. So, yeah. So.
Now we're on my couch.
And I think, and I'm glad that you shared that, because I think that sometimes we don't know what kind of goes into. Glad you're fixing it.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah. You don't need to see my guts. You keep talking. I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah, sometimes we're kind of curious, what goes on behind the scenes before we all get our day started. Like, I know for me, the first thing I do, I actually set my alarm early before my kids get up. When I have my kids, when I have my boys, and I set my alarm early, like 30
How old
minutes
are your
before.
boys?
16 and 9.
Wow.
Yeah, so I set my alarm just so I have 30 minutes to myself to go into meditation.
That's so important. Yeah.
And get my mind in the right frame of mind of how I want to set the intention for the day.
Right. Exactly. And for me, you've got the boys. I have the East Coast. I do a lot of stuff with East Coast clients. So for them to call at 7 a.m. is not unusual, because it's 10 o'clock in their office. So having to get up, I had to set my alarm this morning for 6. Slept right through it. But I need that time. I really need that time. It's hard to be shot out of a cannon and have a not just productive day, but to stay centered through the course of the day. And I need that time to kind of realign each morning, to recenter, refocus, light the campfire, and get the day started that way.
Oh, that's so great. And I think and I'm glad that we're talking about this, because so many people don't take the time to do that, or realize how important it is to set ourselves up, our mind, body, soul, everything ready to go to take on whatever we have to take on for the day, whether that's kids, work,
Legal issues. Yeah, because you know what, we can be depleted nutritionally, we can be depleted energy wise, but you can be depleted spiritually too, halfway through the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you're dealing with so much stuff, and you operate from a place of being a good person and helping other people, and there are a lot of people you come in contact are not like that. So they're taking that spiritual energy from you, and unless you've kind of filled up the reservoir that morning, sometimes it can be easily emptied out.
Yeah, that's great. And I stop in the middle of the day. I don't know what you do. Maybe you do, or I do. I stop in the middle of the day because I do so much spiritual energy work, shamanic work. And so I have to stop and take, sometimes after here, it's high energy, it gets intense. Just when you're around somebody else that it is aware as well and has that awareness, does their own spiritual energy work, channeling Donald Trump and other characters, the energy is high. And so to remove myself, to get myself back into a stable, neutral place, or else I'm going to be like this all day and buzzing up here all day, which can zap a lot too. And as well as, in some situations being around people where it brings down the energy, and it, like you said, being sucked out of you.
Yeah, because you can be spiritually depleted. By so many different things you didn't see coming. One of the things I used to do, and I've fallen out of the habit of it, is if I'm going somewhere, or say I'm going to another studio or a meeting here in town, or flying somewhere, to send light to that town, that hotel room in advance. That was that, and I was really, and then it kind of it helps you on so many levels, but to send the energy across country to New York City, to the hotel you're staying in, to that place, and then that where you're going to be performing, and that's really helpful, and it centers you and focuses you, and so you're not just kind of just running through the day.
Yeah. Thank you for that, because you are doing your own shamanic work. You are a channel, of divine spirit, and it's so funny just how we all channel in a very different way. Yours happens to be in character as an actor, as a writer, as a comedian, as Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So when we all channel in a very different way, I channel in a different way, and so this, it's great. It's great to do this. This is a lot of fun, because now I understand why Spirit has me here with you talking to you about this.
Well, talking about that, when I go on stage a lot of times, and I do this, I go through a kind of a ritual of just exercises for speech. So I hit those right, and obviously I think you even heard me listening to Trump beforehand, and I do that for every character. Then I always ground myself. I open my crown chakra, I open my root chakra, I take the power of the sun and I bring it through the crown of my head and the earth power, and I have them meet in my heart, and I bathe myself in white light before I go on stage.
That's so awesome.
And then I close it, because you got to you open it, you got to close it. So I close those things, and I have that energy. But the thing that I say to the universe is, I say, God, this isn't for me. This isn't my ego about to go out on stage. Let me entertain these people. Let me lift them up. Let me do whatever I need to do. Whatever I'm here to do, and that's what I want. That's what I want. It's for them. It's not for me. Because if it was just for me, I could never get enough. It would be a bottomless pit.
Yeah, and Spirit would stop it somewhere.
Right.
Stopping. And this is why things are coming into you at this time right now, because you're at that place of receiving, and you are consciously aware of setting your ego to the side and channeling, letting Spirit work through you in a very interesting and fun and funny way.
Right, yeah. You would think it'd be the opposite, but yeah.
But yeah.
Especially with this character specifically.
Yeah. Yes, and I think that's so funny, because we're not, I've heard you talk about in some ways what your own thoughts, I'm not gonna say,
right.
But what your own thoughts about what's going on and with the Trump administration, and just little things here that I've kind of caught on, and yet you are here.
Well, because for me, I believe in center. I want to entertain everybody. I don't want to alienate anyone. To pick a political position, it pushes people away, and I want to make everyone laugh.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And there's definitely a place for that.
Yes. So this is good. This is good, because I think it was questionable for me. I knew that as soon as I put your picture up, dressed up as Donald Trump, it was going to be kind of interesting. I think the audience was going to be like, wait a second, this is confusing to me, because a lot of the audience in maybe the are very spiritual are not Trump supporters.
Right.
So they were like curious about, okay, what is she doing exactly? And I thought to myself, well, I'm following my guidance. So whatever it is, I gotta follow that, and whatever it comes out to me, and oh my gosh, this is much more than I expected, which was just perfectly whole, complete, and in divine order.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
it's wonderful.
Yeah, so thank you. So, is there anything that you want to share? Otherwise,
Oh no, this is great. Thank you so much for coming here. I really appreciate this, because usually most of the articles are about, the interviews are pretty much like the ones I've told you about, and but this is nice, because it reminds me that there are people that are interested in this and that pursue it, and I have a lot of friends who are, come from more of a spiritual place, and it's easy in like the everyday world to forget it. People say things, but they're not practicing.
Yes, mindful of
yeah. And you have a lot of people, and more in the religious realm. I think people who are more spiritual on their own path, who take the time to learn and to read and move in different directions. For me, I was raised Roman Catholic. This has been kind of a different route than most take, but kind of like my career too. So I think it's not a straight shot. It's you. Thich Nhat Hanh, let me go see him, and the Dalai Lama's speaking, and let me go. I was raised Catholic, so I want to go to Catholic Church, or I want to read about this, or I want to read about that. Where can these things come together? And there's a book by Thich Nhat Hanh called Living Buddha, Living Christ, which is fascinating because it's about 1,000 quotes that they both said, and obviously the Buddha was 1,000 years before.
Yeah.
So.
And well, here's the other thing that I want to point out is, thank you for that. Not everything has to be serious, because when we think about spirituality, it's all about putting someone on a pedestal and we're all saints all of a sudden, and everybody, all of a sudden fun is taken out of things, and we're all serious and we're all sitting around just kumbaya and meditation in a cave or something, and I think this is why
it's hot in this sweat lodge.
This is why I think Spirit was like, okay, we're gonna lighten this up, and we're gonna have you talk with John and show just how spirituality, we're all spiritual beings, so everything is spiritual,
right?
And so it's kind of like, let's lighten this up
Yeah,
a little bit and have some fun. Not everything has to be so serious.
Yeah,
obviously. Well, you do.
100%.
Yeah. So how do people get a hold of you? How do they follow you?
I'm
You're
a
everywhere.
social media whore, as it turns out. But you can on Instagram and Twitter, it's Johnny D23, so it's JOHNNYD23. Under Facebook, it's just I've got 3 pages, my personal and 2 fan pages, and it's just John D. Domenico. My last name is D-I space D-O-M-E-N-I-C-O, and then Snapchat is, I think, the real Johnny D or something. But, Tumblr, LinkedIn, I'm there. You'll know it's me from either this or it's
and if that's not enough, you guys can find him through my friends on Facebook somehow, or he's tagged on this video and all that kind of stuff. So, well, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. You are awesome. You're a beautiful person, and you are
and it's
hilarious.
wonderful what you're doing.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And for those of you that want to know more about me, you can reach me at Sophia, Sophia Rashkin, RASHKIN.com. Please, if you enjoy these videos, go ahead and share them with others on Facebook. And we're just here sharing the light. And then if you want to watch the other videos that I've done, you can go to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, and you'll get notified of more
new videos when they come out.
Yeah, that's right. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We love you all. Much love and many blessings to you guys. See you soon. Bye.